Mgmt is an American psychedelic rock band formed in 2002 at Wesleyan University. It currently consists of Andrew VanWyngarden, lead vocals, guitar, keyboards, bass guitar, drums, percussion, and Ben Goldwasser, vocals, keyboards, guitar, percussion. In the live lineup it consists of VanWyngarden, Goldwasser, Will Berman, drums, percussion, harmonica, backing vocals, Matt Osti, bass guitar, backing vocals, James Richardson, lead guitar, keyboards, backing vocals, and Hank Sullivan, guitar, keyboards. Originally with Cantora Records, they signed with Columbia and Red Ink in 2006 and released their debut album Oracular Spectacular the next year. After the release of Oracular Spectacular, Osti, Richardson and Berman joined the core band in the studio for Congratulations, which was released on April 13, 2010. In January 2011 they began work on their eponymous third studio album. It was released on September 17, 2013, and was released as an early exclusive on RDIO on September 9, 2013. On October 5, 2007, Spin named Mgmt Artist of the Day. In November, Rolling Stone pegged Mgmt as a top 10 artist to watch in 2008. The band placed 9th in the BBC's Sound of 2008 Top 10 poll. They were also named as Last.fm's Most Played New Artist of 2008 in their Best of 2008 list. At the 51st Grammy Awards, the Justice remix of Electric Feel won the Grammy Award for Best Remixed Recording, Non-Classical. The group was nominated for the Grammy Award for Best New Artist, and Kids was nominated for Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals at the 52nd Grammy Awards. History Formation 2004-2005 Ben Goldwasser and Andrew VanWyngarden formed the band while attending Wesleyan University during their freshman year. "We weren't trying to start a band," remarked Goldwasser. "We were just hanging out and showing each other music that we liked." They experimented with noise rock and electronica before settling on what Paco Alvarez of Spin calls their current brand of shape-shifting psychedelic pop. They graduated in 2005 and toured extensively in support of the Time to Pretend EP released in the same year, opening for indie pop band of Montreal. The band first started with the name The Management, releasing various demo albums including Climbing to New Lows, but since this name was already being used by another band, they later changed it to Management. This abbreviation stands for Management. While at Wesleyan, they were schoolmates of Francis and the Lights, who they have since toured with. Oracular Spectacular, 2006-2009, In the autumn of 2006, Maureen Kenny signed the band to Columbia Records. When they got a phone call from the A&R department of Columbia Records saying they were interested in their music, they thought it was a joke. The duo recorded with Flaming Lips, Sleater-Kinney music producer Dave Fridman in 2007 for their major label debut, Oracular Spectacular. Mgmt opened for Of Montreal on tour in autumn 2007 as a 5-piece touring band including Matthew Osti, bass, James Richardson, drums, and Hank Sullivan, guitar. In November 2007, they performed for the first time in Europe, supporting the band Samantha and the Courteeners at Coco in London, England. After March 2008, Hank Sullivan left the band to pursue his own band, Karoma. Will Berman joined as the new drummer, James Richardson switched from drums to guitar, and Matthew Osti remained on bass. The band supported Radiohead on the Manchester date of their world tour and went on a headline tour of the UK during November 2008, playing at venues such as Manchester Academy and Shepherd's Bush Empire. Mgmt opened for MIA on the Vassar College date of her 2008 tour, and also played several shows with Beck while he toured in 2008. They appeared at the 2008 and 2009 editions of the Bonnaroo Music Festival. Bruce Springsteen was in attendance during their 2009 Bonnaroo Late Night set, which followed his headlining appearance on What Stage. They also toured Australia with a headlining spot on the Meredith Music Festival lineup. They also played a show at the Virgin Music Festival on the Toronto Islands on September 6, 2008, playing 9 songs off their Oracular Spectacular album. They also played the 2008 Street Scene Festival in San Diego, California. On February 27, 2009, Mgmt performed alongside Spectrum at the Dome in Finsbury Park. Mgmt also played another show in Australia at the 2009 Splendor in the Grass Festival. Mgmt headlined this music festival along with other well-known bands such as Block Party, The Flaming Lips, Happy Mondays, and Jane's Addiction. Mgmt opened for Paul McCartney Sony, an admitted fan, at Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts, on August 5 and 6, 2009. On August 15, 2009, Mgmt played in Hamburg, Germany, at the Dockville Festival and performed several songs from their upcoming album. Mgmt was one of the headlining bands for the Treasure Island Music Festival on Treasure Island in San Francisco, California, on October 17, 2009. Congratulations, 2010-2011, Mgmt's Congratulations was released on April 13, 2010. The band, including Matthew Osti, James Richardson, and Will Berman from the live band, spent the summer of 2009 in Malibu, California, recording the album with Pete Kember, aka Sonic Boom, formerly of Spacemen 3 and Spectrum, serving as producer, guru, and longtime friend, Billy Bennett, also an NCAA record-holding kicker for the University of Georgia, as engineer. Mgmt originally suggested that they might not release any singles from the album by July 2010. However, 4 single releases from the album had been confirmed. The album cover art for Congratulations was created for Mgmt by Anthony Osgang, and the overall design of the packaging is by Josh Chuse of Sony Entertainment. On March 9, 2010, Mgmt released the song Flash Delirium for free download on their official website. On March 20, the band allowed users to stream their new album from their website. Mgmt started their Congratulations tour on April 12, 2010, in San Francisco, California, at the Fillmore. They performed on April 23 at Brown University's Spring Weekend, on April 27 at Yale University's Spring Fling, on April 30 at the University of New Hampshire's Spring Climax, and on May 1 at Fordham University's Spring Weekend. On June 25, Mgmt performed on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, and on July 23, they were the musical guests on The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. On August 25, Mgmt released a music video for Congratulations, the third video of their second album. Mgmt was one of the third-tier bands for the 2010 Coachella Festival in Indio, California. The event draws nearly 120,000 attendees annually. On October 31, 2010, the band performed for the Voodoo Experience in New Orleans, Louisiana. The band decided to dress as the main characters from Scooby-Doo for Halloween. Andrew dressed up as Daphne and Ben dressed up as Velma. They headlined at Fun Fest, which was held at Waterloo Park in Austin, Texas on November 6, 2010. The performance was the last show in the U.S. for Mgmt in 2010. Their first 2011 gig was at Mar del Plata, Argentina, in front of a crowd of more than 40,000 on the beach in a free event which they headlined. Mgmt began their first Asian tour on February 22, 2011. On September 22, 2011, Mgmt performed the Pink Floyd song Lucifer Sam during Late Night with Jimmy Fallon's Pink Floyd Week. Mgmt, 2012 to 2014. In January 2012, Mgmt confirmed in an interview with Intercourse magazine that they had started work on their third album, with VanWyngarden stating that he had written 5 songs. On February 27, 2012, Mgmt began recording the album with Dave Fridman at his Tarbox Road studios. In March 2012, VanWyngarden said that Mgmt will perform new songs on their upcoming shows in Latin America. On March 30, 2012, the band premiered a new song, entitled Alien Days, at a show in Bogotá, Colombia. The band performed on August 3, 2012 in Montreal, Canada at Osheaga, and on August 5, 2012 in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, U.S. at Music Fest. In January 2013, NME and Rolling Stone published an interview in which the band announced that the album was tentatively scheduled for a June 2013 release. As of March 2013, the process of recording the album at Tarbox Road Studios with Fridman was near completion. On April 20, 2013, the band released the studio version of Alien Days. The band then embarked on a spring tour, followed by fall, autumn and winter tour dates for North America. Following VanWyngarden's shoulder surgery in mid-2013, former touring member Hank Sullivan rejoined the band to play live guitar for the remainder of 2013. Sullivan played with VanWyngarden when they were in high school and is in the band Karoma, whose next album is produced by Goldwasser. The self-titled album was released September 17, 2013. An exclusive early release of the album, along with a full-length music video called Optimizer, was available from the RDIO music service on September 9, 2013. In June 2013, the band performed at the Firefly Music Festival in Dover, Delaware. They performed at the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival in April 2014 before embarking on a European tour later in June 2014 and performing at the Glastonbury Festival in England. In July 2014, they were nominated for a VMA in the category Best Editing for their music video Your Life Is a Lie. In an interview at Falls Festival Marion Bay in 2014, the band announced that they will take a short break and come back stronger with a new sound. Little Dark Age, 2015 present, Will Berman stated in an interview with Hitfix in April 2015 that we've been taking a little break I guess. We've been at it for years at this point, there's more to come. He didn't want to speak for either Ben or Andrew on when there would be a new album from the group. On October 1, 2015, Mgmt announced on social media that their 2005 EP Time to Pretend would be re-released on vinyl as part of Record Store Day on November 27, 2015. On December 26, 2015, the band tweeted announcing that they would return in 2016. As of at least October 1, 2016, the band has been working on an untitled new album. On May 8, 2017, the band released a teaser video on Instagram alongside the title of the forthcoming album as Little Dark Age, following series of cryptic tweets the week prior. Legal proceedings In January 2009, Mgmt demanded compensation from the French Union for a popular movement, Party. The headed by Nicolas Sarkozy, the former president of France, had used the song Kids Without Permission at a party conference and in 2 online videos in 2008. In an official statement, Mgmt remarked that the fact that the used our song without permission while simultaneously pushing anti-piracy legislation seemed a little whack. The initially offered a symbolic compensation of €1 to Mgmt, but the band refused that offer. Finally, in April 2009, the parties settled out of court, and the agreed to pay Mgmt around €2,500 for legal fees and €30,000 (US $39,050) for copyright infringement. Mgmt donated this money to artists' rights organizations. Collaborations. They have collaborated with the rapper Kid Cudi, and are featured on one track, Pursuit of Happiness, from his album Man on the Moon, The End of Day. For the 2010 MTV VMAs, Kid Cudi was nominated for Best Hip Hop Video for Pursuit of Happiness, a track which features Mgmt and Rat-a-tat. They also collaborated on the track Worm Mountain on the Flaming Lips Embryonic. On September 4, 2009, Beck announced his second record Club Covers album, Songs of Leonard Cohen. Mgmt contributed, alongside Devendra Banhart, Andrew Stockdale of Wolfmother and Binky Shapiro of Little Joy. Band members Studio Andrew VanWyngarden, lead vocals, guitar, keyboards, bass guitar, drums, percussion, 2004 present. Benjamin Goldwasser, vocals, keyboards, guitar, percussion, 2004 present. Will Berman, born July 21, 1982, drums, guitar, bass, additional vocals, 2009-2010. Matt Ostie, born March 10, 1980, guitar, bass, piano, percussion, additional vocals, 2009-2010. James Richardson, born May 19, 1983, guitar, percussion, keyboards, additional vocals, 2009-2010. Touring Will Berman, drums, percussion, harmonica, backing vocals, 2005-2008 present. Matt Ostie, bass guitar, backing vocals, 2007 present. James Richardson, drums, 2007-2008, lead guitar, keyboards, backing vocals, 2008 present. Hank Sullivan, guitar, keyboards, 2007-2008, 2013 present. Discography Oracular Spectacular, 2007. Congratulations, 2010. Mgmt, 2013. Little Dark Age, 2017. See also List of awards and nominations received by Mgmt. References External links Official website, official YouTube channel. Mgmt interviewed for Crash Magazine in 2008.